إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Amma ba'd, dear brothers and sisters, the lecture of today will be related to black magic being present in Hanafi and Deobandi books. But inshallah, we're going to quote from many standard Hanafi books and we're going to expose the danger they contain, the black magic they tell, like writing Fatiha with surah al-Fatihah with urine and blood. And we're going to have two quotes of Deobandi books which also contain blatant black magic. And these books are being sold by Deobandi upon the name of Islam, so we have to warn the layman not to read their books, and also for the Deobandis to correct their mistakes and for their own islah and their own good, because our intention is not to humiliate anyone, but to expose the truth and to warn the layman against them, and also to advise nicely the Deobandis to rectify their own house. But before this lecture, I would like to, in introduction, to speak about the topic of Taqleed, because this topic, I have seen a lecture by Maulana Mumtaz al-Haq, in which Maulana Mumtaz al-Haq said we should not follow the authentic hadith, but we should follow your madhab. And he said all the speakers like Dr. Zakir Naik and others who say you should follow the authentic hadith, he said this is all wrong, and he made false claims. So at the beginning I want to refute Taqleed, and also the topic of Taqleed is related to the black magic being present in books. Because we will tell the people of Taqleed, those who said the layman should just follow the scholars and he should not ask for dalil, he should not ask for evidences, then what about the black magic present in the books? Should the layman accept black magic present in these books, and should he write Fatiha with surah al-Fatihah with urine and blood? So this is related. Taqleed is a source of fitna, and the consequence is people following blindly books and the fuqaha and propagating black magic without asking question. They leave the nusus, the authentic text, and they're just told, just follow scholars. Don't worry about the dalai, don't worry about the nusus, this is not your business. Just follow scholars, don't ask for evidences, and the evil consequence of it is propagation of black magic. And the layman, they don't even ask the scholars why our books contain black magic, what's the evidence for it, because they're being told, just be a sheep, just be an animal, you don't have us to question, you cannot understand that, just follow fuqaha, or just follow scholars. So inshallah, first, this is why I wanted to speak about, because a brother Harun, he sent me a 15 minutes video of Maulana Mumtaz al-Haq Deobandi, in which Maulana Mumtaz al-Haq said very, very ugly matters. And I like to add in introduction first to refute him, then we're going to start inshallah the topic of black magic present in Hanafi manual of fiqh and Deobandi books. First of all, the brother should know that the Deobandi, they always stress upon following a madhab. You should follow madhab, you should not follow authentic hadith, an authentic hadith which no madhab said, it is not right. You see, they say you must, you cannot just find the books of books of a hadith and follow them. You must have a madhab. But what we see is that they tell this to others, but for themselves they do actions of worship that no madhab of neither of the four nor any other earlier Sahaba, Tabi'i or Mujtahid did. Neither Imam Abu Hanifa, neither Imam Ahmad, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Thawri, Lays ibn Sa'ad, Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna, none of the Salaf did. So they have, they dare to lecture people about following the madhab, and you must have a fiqhi riwayah from an imam to do an action. You mustn't act on hadith. Some of the hadiths are abrogated. Nobody knows what they mean and whatever. You must follow imams from the Salaf. But these people, they propagate some actions related to the Sufism, related to the Sufi tariqas, which have no justification in any books of fiqh. And they don't see any problem in it, because their religion of Taqleed and Tasawwuf is fabricated, it's man-made. So obviously you will see many contradiction in it, because it doesn't come from Allah. Allah didn't tell us to just follow one scholar. Allah didn't say just to follow one scholar and leave all the other scholars and not to look at the dalail. So this is why the people of Taqleed, they have so many contradictions between themselves, because it's a man-made principle. And likewise, Sufism is a man-made principle that have no precedent from the Sharia. That's why we see many contradictions of them. On one stance, they say you must follow a faqih, and you mustn't just act based on hadith. You do not have ijtihad, you do not have the quwwah of ijtihad. And on the other hand, they do actions like bay'ah. The Sufi sheikh take bay'ah from the students, meaning oath of allegiance, Sufi, and they neither Imam Abu Hanifa and his standard manual of Hanafi books of fiqh have this in their books. But they do it without asking why didn't Abu Hanifa, Malik, Shafi'i and others, Aimah did this. And they have a book in English. It's called The Truth About Bay'ah of Dr. Muhammad Ismail Memon Madani. It's published by Darul Ishaat, Karachi. And they have some ahadith to justify bay'ah, but all these hadith is the Prophet doing bay'ah. You see, it's not related after the Prophet it's bay'ah taken by the Prophet by people. And they say, but why did the Sahaba and the Tabi'in after them and the Imams didn't do bay'ah from people, the Sufi bay'ah? They said, oh, because then they had disputes between the Sahaba and that's why they didn't do it. But after the fourth generation, the Sufis started this Sunnah again. So here you have them acting upon a hadith who are related to the Prophet ﷺ. There is no analogy between the hadith of doing bay'ah to him, who was a prophet, who was a ruler at the same time, and you apply it to Sufi Sheikh. This is their fiqh. They have no fiqh, these people. You see, they act upon a hadith. Same time they say, we don't have quwwah to ijtihad, we don't act upon a hadith, we act upon sayings of imams. And same time they propagate a false religion they have made up, without any imams, without any sayings of Imam of Salaf about their bay'ah. They just take a hadith and apply it to the Sufi Sheikh. And the Prophet ﷺ never told us to take bay'ah from a Sufi Sheikh, to take zikr from him, to isolate in rooms without any windows for that many days, and all this where the Sufism have. So, secondly, Maulana Mumtaz ul-Haq told that since centuries people have been following four madhahib and there were no problem, and the Ahlul Hadith are starting this fitna or telling people not to follow the mazahib. But this is either he's ignoring history or he's hiding his own house, because in the books of fiqh are filled with the insults against the other imams, like Nurul Anwar, the Hanafi book of Usul al-Fiqh of Maulana Jivan. At the end in Mabahis Ahliyah, they're saying Imam Shafi is not going to be forgiven on the day of judgment. And they have other of the scholar, they have books of fiqh like Bahrul Ra'iq, which has a chapter about praying behind the person from the other madhab. And then some of the scholars say it's makruh tahrimi, some other they say it's makruh just without being forbidden. And they say you should not marry, some of them, Hanafi should not marry a Shafi'i, and some of them then they allowed marrying based upon analogy with the people of Ahlul Kitab. They say, oh, because we can marry the woman from Ahlul Kitab, so likewise we can marry the Shafi'i and take their woman. I mean, this is what is in Bahrul Ra'iq, and even in other books of Mazhab, you will find about this chapter praying behind. After the chapter of praying behind the innovator, you have the chapter praying behind the person of the other madhab. And this is the harmony between the mazahib. You don't marry between yourself, you don't pray between yourself. In the same masjid, you have four musallas, and you even have people cursing each other, fighting. In some books of history, there's Shafi and Hanafi burning each other's houses, they're cursing each other. Even Rashad Kashmiri mentioned that he found in some books that the Shafi and the Hanafis, they would break the fast before time in order to debate the Hanafi, to debate the Shafi. And they will say, because it's a jihad to debate the Shafi, so we can break the fast before time to have more strength to debate the Shafi. Na'udhu billah. So this is the harmony, cursing each other, fighting each other, not praying behind each other. And this is the false harmony which, na'udhu billah, the Ahlul Hadith broke. While these mazahib, they have been responsible for dividing the ummah, the ta'assub, the hatred, the cursing among each others. Then Maulana Mumtaz tries to confuse the situation. You see, he tries to say, oh, but if you act upon the hadith, you're following the ijtihad of Imam Bukhari. Imam Bukhari did not hear directly from the Prophet ﷺ, so you are still following other human beings, and it's a kind of taqleed. Well, it is not taqleed, because, you see, this is what the Deobandi do. They confuse people about the definition of taqleed. Taqleed is following the saying of someone whose saying is not a hujjah, you see, without any dalil, and it is in ahkam. It is not, the people of usul al-fiqh, they have said, accepting a testimony or the judgment of a qadi based on witnesses is not taqleed. You see, if I hear a brother tells me, I have seen this action and I accept his testimony, this is not taqleed. Taqleed is in ahkam. Someone tells me this matter is haram, this matter is halal, and I accept his view without any dalil, this is taqleed. So it's confusing the matter. Imam Bukhari, he just didn't accept a hadith. It is a knowledge, you see. It is not just following his whims or desires. It is a knowledge. You see, the scholars have classified narrators upon their precision, upon their forgetfulness, upon their integrity. Some of them will be liars, some of them will be innovators. And they mention the reason of their weakening. Like, for instance, I mean, when Imam Muslim weakened Imam Abu Hanifa, he said it's mustarab hadith. He makes contradiction between the hadith. And Imam Hafiz ibn Hibban, he said he forgets. Imam Abu Hanifa forgets. So when the Hufaz, they weaken someone, they mention the reason. So we know the reason of why this hadith is weak. Is the chain is disconnected between the narrators. This narrator didn't meet this one. This one has forgetfulness. This one has this issue. That's why we don't accept his narration. It's a knowledge. How can you compare accepting a hadith with accepting a judgment of a faqih about the religion of Allah? You see, so this matter is confusing. He's trying to confuse them. So accepting a hadith is not taqleed. And as well, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim have talaqi bil qabul, meaning they have been, except for very few hadiths that have been rejected by, criticized by some hufaz, but on all the others of the hadiths, which have not been criticized by any scholars of the Salaf and Khalaf, there is talaqi bil qabul. Even Maulana Anwar Shah Kashmiri and Imam Sarkhasi from the Ahnaf, they accepted that the hadiths of Bukhari Muslim that have talaqi bil qabul, they lead to certainty. So it's a certain knowledge. We cannot say, oh, Imam Bukhari has authenticated this hadith, but it's still an opinion and it's still taqleed. He didn't hear from the Prophet. What does it mean? I mean, we see some of the Ahnaf, they try to open the door to hadith rejection. At the same time, Maulana Safras Abdul Khan or Maulana Taqi Usmani are going to write books against Parvezis and hadith rejectors, books about the authority of the Sunnah and hadith. And at the same time, some of other Deobandis, like Maulana Mahmoud Khalid Sheikh from Manchester, are going to say the hadiths have been lost and based on very spurious evidences. The hadith literature has been lost, so we have to follow fiqh imam. So they're degrading the certainty in hadith, the surety we have in following hadith, and they're opening the door to hadith rejections. They're saying, oh, the hadith is not certain, it's better to follow the opinion of imam, the hadith doesn't lead to any, it might, I mean, the hadiths haven't been lost, the Hufaz collected them, protected them. You see, this is a claim without any dalil. And the Imam Bukhari knew that many hundred thousands of hadiths and he only quoted 800 in his Sahih Bukhari. It's not a dalil, because one hadith can have 100 chains. One hadith sometimes has 200 chains. Like Dr. Mustafa Azami has a book on the authority of hadith, in which he refutes Orientalists, and you can see how he makes chains. One hadith has 80 chains. So it doesn't mean if Imam Bukhari just had 8,000 hadiths in his Sahih Bukhari, so all the others that he knew disappeared. Some of them might have been collected by others imams. Some of the others might be summary of the same he quoted, or some of them, you see, might be concise version of the same hadith, but with the longer chains. So, I mean, this is the level of fiqh. You see, at the same time, we say we don't have quwwat ijtihad, and then they make rules and principles about not accepting a hadith based on their weak ijtihad, you see. So, And there's so much, hypocritical. Same time they say we accept hadith, we're not hadith rejectors. Same time they cast doubt upon authentic hadith and saying it's just the ijtihad of Imam Bukhari. Subhanallah, it is the revelation. You see, the Prophet himself have received the revelation like the Quran, you see. Hadith is a revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is not just an ijtihad of a scholar. And we're not sure about it because he didn't hear directly from the Prophet, so na'udhu billah. And then Maulana Mumtaz made some claim that Imam Abu Hanifa always has proofs. There's no case in which Imam Abu Hanifa does not have a dalil. And he's making such a statement knowing himself that in some cases Imam Abu Hanifa dalil are weak, and Hanafi themselves, they do not follow Imam Abu Hanifa's verdict. They choose his companions' verdict because they say Imam Abu Hanifa, his evidence is not strong and the evidence of the other is strong. And there are many cases, he himself knows, that there is a hadith opposing Imam Abu Hanifa, and the Hanafi do not accept this hadith. They do not have any hadith opposing it, but they say it is opposing their own rules. They say it is khabar ahad. It cannot restrict the Quran. You see, like for the non-married person who does zina, in Sahih Muslim, the Prophet himself will judge by the book of Allah, and he said he should be lashed 100 times and he should be exiled for 1 year. But the Hanafis do not accept the exile of 1 year, and they say it is a restriction of the Quran with khabar ahad, and they don't have any other hadith in which the Prophet didn't exile someone for a year. So, and many other hadiths that they do not accept. They say it is authentic, but it is restriction of the Quran with khabar ahad. And there are many hadiths like this. In the book Usul Shashi, at the beginning they mention many hadiths. They say they're authentic, they're from Bukhari, Muslim, we accept them, but like for the minimum for zakat, you see, they don't accept the minimum the other fuqaha accept. They say it's restricting the Quran with khabar ahad. They agree the hadith opposing them is authentic, but they made this rule. But the problem is they don't want to tell layman why we do not accept this, because then the layman, they're going to say, they're going to come to the Ahlul Hadith scholars, and the Ahlul Hadith scholars are going to say the Hanafi themselves do not apply this rule properly. For instance, the Hanafi, they fix a minimum for the mahar, meaning the dowry of the woman. They say it must have a minimum, and they follow another a narration from Abdullah ibn Masud, but this narration is weak. You see, Maulana Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi himself said this narration is weak, even if Badruddin Aini and others say no, it is not weak, it is Hasan. Maulana Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi said even if this narration is Hasan, it is still khabar ahad, and the Quran mentions giving dowry absolutely in a mutlaq way, and you are restricting it with khabar ahad, which is against the Hanafi rules. You see, so if the laymen are told these rules, that's why the muqallidin, they do not want to tell the dalail, because at the end the laymen are going to say, come on, you telling me not to accept this hadith from Bukhari Muslim saying it is restricting the Quran, but you yourself are restricting the Quran with weak hadith. Sometimes Hafiz ibn al-Qayyim said with weak narration, sometimes with analogy they are restricting the Quran, and there are many other examples, but this needs another lecture about khabar ahad. So this is one matter. Sometimes the Abu Hanifa, that there are ahadith opposing his views, but the Hanafi do not accept these ahadith, whether they're from Bukhari Muslim, based on their false rules, which they themselves do not apply when it comes against their fiqh. Sometimes now, some ahadith did not reach Imam Abu Hanifa, and he's saying that no, Imam Abu Hanifa, he always has dalil, means in a way he was infallible. You see, it's impossible he could give an opinion, and because nobody could know, some companions miss some hadith, some tabi'in miss some hadith, some atba tabi'in, but this muqallid, there's so much in the ta'assub and love for Imam Abu Hanifa, their mind cannot think maybe Imam hadith didn't reach Imam Abu Hanifa. And that's why Imam Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi, he quotes many examples, like like we have the example. We have the example of aqiqah. You see, for all the scholars, the other scholars, Imam Malik, Shafi, Ahmad, and in the Sahih Bukhari Muslim, it is told that Aqiqah is a sunnah. You should give 1 sheep for a girl and 2 for a boy. But for Imam Abu Hanifa, in his Kitab al-Athar, I have it here in English. For Imam Abu Hanifa, it is a practice of Jahiliyyah and Islam abrogated it. And Imam Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani, he agrees with Imam Abu Hanifa that the Aqiqah was, and they quote some author from the Salaf, saying it was abrogated, while authentic hadith established the Aqiqah, and all the madhahib do establish it, even the Deobandi, they say it is sunnah to do Aqiqah. So they themselves know Imam Abu Hanifa oppose this hadith, they don't take his opinion, and they dare to say, oh, but no hadith opposed him. You see, this is what it is. In Kitab al-Athar, I'm not going to read it because I'll read it inshallah in a further detailed lecture on Taqleed. I will read all these proofs. But in this book of Mawlana Irshad al-Kathri, it is said that Imam Maliki, he said, Imam Muhammad ibn Hassan, he said, Aqidah Jahiliyat ka rawaj tha. It was a practice of Jahiliyyah and Islam abrogated it. And in his Jami al-Saghir, he said that one should not slaughter a sheep for the boy or the girl. And Allama Kasani, from the Hanafi scholar, in his Badai Sana'i, he said doing Aqiqah is makruh. While in Fatawa Alamgiriyah, they say it's permissible, but it is not sunnah. While in Bukhari, Muslim, other hadith, it is clearly said the Prophet slaughtered for his grandsons. And Maulana Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi, he said, no, the real saying of Imam Abu Hanifa is it is mubah. And he said, لَعْلَا لَمْ تَبْلُغْ إِمَامْ مَنَا حَيْثُ قَالَ أَنَّهَا مُبَاحَةٌ وَلَيْسَتْ بِمُسْتَحَبَّةٍ. So he said, maybe the hadith about it being recommended did not reach our Imam. This is why he said it is permissible but not recommended. So this is Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi saying maybe the hadith didn't reach our Imam, but in this case he opposed Imam Abu Hanifa, the authentic hadith. This is what the Deobandi Ashraf Ali Thanvi and others, they would say Aqiqah is recommended. While for Imam Abu Hanifa, in Kitab al-Athar, they say it's abrogated, it's a practice of Jahiliyyah and Islam stopped Aqiqah. And Imam Kasani said it's makruh to do it. So even if Imam Abu Hanifa said it's mubah, the authentic hadith in Bukhari and others show it is a sunnah to do it. But Imam Abu Hanifa, he is a human being, he's not infallible. But in these people's brain, the simple matters, in other cases, like about the prayer, about Salatul Istisqa, for Imam Abu Hanifa, there's only dua and istighfar, but there's not a recommended prayer. But Imam Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi said the many hadiths authentic in which the Prophet prayed Salatul Istiqsa. And he said, لَعَلَّهَ هَذِي الْأَخْبَارِ لَمْ تَبْلُغْ الْإِمَامِ وَلَمْ يُنْكِرْ إِسْتِنَانَ جَمَاعَ. So he said, maybe these hadiths did not reach our Imam. So this is the saying of Abdul Hayy Lukhnawi. He himself saying maybe in some cases the hadith did not reach our Imam. But there are many other cases. I can quote many, but because it's just in the introduction, I'm just going to quote 2 cases present in Sahih Bukhari. I have with me Fath al-Bari. The first one is praying the witr on a camel. For the Ahnaf, praying in Sahih Bukhari in the chapter of Kitab al-Witr, in the prayer, Bab al-Witr ala dabati, meaning praying witr on an animal. There is a hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. So Abdullah ibn Umar asked somebody, why did you stop? And he said, I stopped because it was late in the morning, it was the time of subh would come. And I stopped riding my animal, and I stopped, came out of it, and I prayed with it. فَأَوْتَرْتُ. And Abdullah said, أَلَيْسَ لَكَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Do you not have in the Prophet ﷺ a good example? فَقُلْتُ بَلَى وَاللَّهِ فَقَالَ فَإِنَّ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ ﷺ كَانَ يُوتِرُ عَلَى الْبَعِيرِ. He said the Prophet ﷺ used to pray with her on his animal, you see, on his donkey. So this hadith in Sahih Bukhari, it's authentic, it's certain knowledge. There's talaqi bil qabul, and according to Ibn Salah and many other scholars, which is the correct opinion, it leads to certainty, it's not just a mere opinion. Then Hafiz Ibn Hajar said, قال تحاوي ذكر عن الكوفيين أن الوتر لا يصلي على الراحلة. He said, Tahawi said that from the Kufis, meaning from Imam Abu Hanifa, one should not pray on the animal, the witr, meaning it's forbidden to pray the witr on the animal while he's riding. And Hafiz ibn Hajar said, وَهُوَ خِلَافَ سُنَّةَ ثَابِتَةً, and it is opposing, this view is contradicting the established sunnah. And he said some of these Hanafi, they واستدل بعضهم برواية مجاهد أنه رأى ابن عمر نزلها فأوتر. And some of them, they take the narration of Mujahid that he saw Ibn Umar descending from his animal and praying the witr. And Hafiz ibn Hajar said, وليس ذلك بمعارض لكونه أوتر على راحلة أنه لا نزاع أن صلاته على العبد أفضل. And he said, this is not a contradiction, because if one time Ibn Umar came out of it, and one time he prayed on the rahila, this is not a contradiction. You see, his action of coming out does not show it is forbidden. You see, it just shows both ways are permissible, but one of them is better. And he said, Abdul Razak narrated from another way, that Ibn Umar used to pray upon his animal, كَانَ يُتِرُ عَلَى رَحْلَةِ وَرُبَّمَا أَنْزَلَ فَأُوتَرَ بِالْأَرْضِ. And sometimes he would come out and pray on the earth, but praying on his you see, it's saying the praying coming from the animals is better. So this is why Ibn Umar used to, but he used to pray also because the other is sunnah as well, you see. Sometimes the Prophet, but the Hanafi do not have any dalil saying it is forbidden to pray witr. And the hadith established with certainty in Sahih Bukhari that Ibn Umar said the Prophet used to pray witr on his animal, and there's no hadith telling it's abrogated. In some narration, if Ibn Umar used to come out from his animal and pray, it will only show both ways are permissible. So in this case, the Hanafi do not have any dalil. And another case, the Hanafi, there are many other cases, but this case is funny because it is Bab Taqleed al-Ghanam. And in Bab Taqleed al-Ghanam, it is the word Taqleed, the topic we're talking about. Because qala'id, there were necklaces they used to put around animals for Hajj, because they used to make shoes and bind them on a rope and put them on animals, on the sheep that were for sacrifice. In case if one of them was to be lost, you see, the people wouldn't eat them; they will send them back to the Haram Sharif to be sacrificed. So it was a sign. Likewise, the Prophet for the camels, he used to bleed them on their top, little bit at their back, so there would be red blood coming. And even this action, it's in authentic hadith, ishar of the camels. And Imam Abu Hanifa said, no, it is forbidden to do this on the camels because it is a mutilation. But the authentic hadith clearly shows the Prophet used to do it, and the Sahaba and the Salaf used to do it after. You see, and Imam Abu Hanifa's dalil is very weak, because mutilation, even circumcision is a mutilation. But if some small kind of mutilations have a greater benefit, you see, like you cleaning your penis, by circumcision, though you're mutilating the body, but you cleaning it, you're following the sunnah. Likewise, if the camel has a small pain, which after a few hours will be cleared, and you just bleed him and make a sign with it that it is a camel reserved for sacrifice, this is a small pain compared to the benefit. So, and if the Prophet used to do it, it is an established sunnah. It is clear in Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, other Kitab of Sunnah, and there is no dalil against it. And likewise for Taqleedul Ghanam, meaning making a necklace with shoes, and it is written in Sahih Bukhari from Aisha, كنت أفتل القلائد للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فيقلد الغنم ويقيم في أهله حلالا. He said, I used to make the qala'id, meaning this necklace of shoes with the ropes for the Prophet, and he used to do فيقلد الغنم, and he used to wear this qala'id around the sheep for sacrifice. So this is why taqleed, it comes from this term taqleedul ghanam, meaning the one who does taqleed, he is like a sheep. He takes the rope of scholar around him, and he just follows him wherever the other one takes him with his rope. So this is why taqleed is for animals, it is not for human beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us knowledge, discerning. He blamed the taqleed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blamed taqleed, acting without knowledge in the Quran. He asked for the mushrik to bring their evidence, and he clearly in many verses, I mean, if I have to quote them, I can quote for hours, telling to follow Allah, to follow the Prophet. And even the verse they use, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ, it is, ask the scholars. I mean, first it was said to the Yahud and Nasara, ask them about if you deny Allah sending Prophet, ask the people of the book, Ahl al-Dhikr. But Imam Shawkani said first of all, it is used to refer to the people of the Jews and the Christians. But if we say, okay, it applies also to Muslims, if we do not a case, we have to ask to the scholars. Imam Shawkani said it means asking the scholars the dalal if you do not know them. If you do not know what is the ruling about this action, you ask a scholar and he will give you the evidence. Oh, this action is forbidden because the Prophet forbade this. Or this action is permissible because the Quran tells this and this verse. And this is what this ayat this verse means. And what is funny is in this verse that the Muqallid use to establish taqleed, it is for absolute taqleed. I mean, if it means taqleed. For us, it doesn't mean taqleed. It means ittiba. It means following. Asking people of knowledge if we don't know the evidences. It mentions absolutely, and it mentions in plural form, the people of knowledge. They don't say ask only one scholar from one madhab and just follow his opinion and do not look at the dalail of other scholars. You see? Ahl al-Dhikr, it is a plural form, and the Ahnaf, they forbid restricting the Quran with khabarahat. So what about restricting the Quran with, they say, intizami umur? They even, Maulana Taqi Usmani say, we say about taqlid shakhsi, just following one madhab, it is intizami matters. They do not have any verse or hadith telling just to follow one scholar. It is based not even on a weak hadith, not even on an analogy, which is still dhanni. Qiyas is still dhanni. They follow worse than lower than this. They follow not only weak hadith, not only speculation, they follow their own whims. Or it might lead to fitna, the layman might choose this and that. This is against your rules. You reject hadith of Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, saying, oh, they're khabarahat, we do not recite the Quran, and you dare to obligate people to follow just one madhab, and you oppose the Quran, you add to the Quran, you restrict the Quran, you break your own rules, showing your religion of taqleed is a man-made religion with no principles. It is just do whatever you want. Sometimes you want to restrict the Quran with a weak hadith, with your own right, you do it. When you don't want, you reject Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim. You reject any hadith saying, oh, it is a takhsis of the Quran with khabar ahad, we don't allow it. So this is why the taqleed of Ghanam, Hafiz ibn Najjar said, قال ibn al-Mundhir said, أنكر مالك وأصحاب رأي تقليدها. He said Imam Malik and the Ashabul Rai, meaning the Abu Hanifa and his students, they rejected taqleed of the sheep. And he said, other than him said, كأنهم لم يبلغهم الحديث, like maybe the hadith didn't reach them. ولم نجد لهم حجة إلا قول بعضهم إنها تضعيف عن التقليد. And he said, we do not find for those who reject taqleed of the ghanam, of the sheep. You see, those who say, you know what, you should not make a necklace with shoes and make the sheep wear it, they have no proof except the saying of some of them that it will weaken the animal. By doing taqleed, it will weaken the animal. But they have no hadith. We have hadith in Sahih Bukhari saying Prophet used to do taqleed of ghanam, and they have no dalil. You see, this is another case that is quoted, and they have many other cases like sitting upon silk. There's a hadith in Sahih Bukhari that the Prophet ﷺ forbade to wear silk and dibaj, and he used to forbid sitting on them. And Imam Zaylai from the Hanafi said this hadith is very mushkil for the Hanafi, because they say it's allowed to sit upon cushions or bed of silk. You see, they have no reply to this hadith except, oh no, this hadith doesn't mean forbidden, this hadith is only when you combine wearing and sitting. But Imam Zaylai said this hadith is very mushkil for the Ahnaf. So they have many other instances in which, the Hanafis, they do not follow any dalil. You see, they do not have any dalil, whether authentic, and that is why they promote taqleed. Because if they start telling, we say, we Ahlul Hadith tell layman the dalil, you Hanafi and others tell you the dalil, let the layman choose. Allah gave him intelligence, Allah, he can choose. But they do not want to do this because they know they're going to lose a lot. You see, they're going to lose it because people, they're going to say, why Raful Yadain is in Sahih Bukhari, Muslim. There are more hadiths about doing Raful Yadain. In Sahih Muslim, Malik ibn al-Huwayrith, 9 months before the death of the Prophet, he visited him and saw the Prophet doing Raful Yadain in Sahih Muslim. And they have no dalil abrogating it. Sometimes some of them, they mention weak narrations of Ibn Zubayr and others. It was at the beginning then abrogated. Like Imam al-Kasani, even Mahmud Hassan Deobandi mentioned it in his Adil al-Kamila without any chain. They mention narrations without any isnad, saying it's abrogated. But else, if some of them, like in Bashar Kashmiri, they say, okay, it is not abrogated, there's no proof about it being abrogated, but both ways are permissible, but we Hanafis choose not doing Raful Yadain. But a layman who has no preference for any imam, he's going to say the hadith of doing Raful Yadain are more than in Sahih Bukhari, Muslim. Those about not doing it, all of them have been criticized. You see, so some of them say they're Hasan, some of them say they're weak. So layman, he's going to say in Sahih Bukhari, Muslim, 9 months before Malik Huwari saw the Prophet doing Raful Yadain, the mutawatir, they have talaqi bil qabul. I should choose, in every field, you choose the saying of the most experts of their field. So they're going to say, choose this saying, the one which has most hadiths, which hadiths are stronger, but they do not want this to tell them, and you choose the strongest dalil, because they know they're going to lose. You see, they know the stronger, if they tell this, the layman is going to shorten combine the prayer in travels, they're going to consider Medina to be haram, they're going to consider halal meat and eating yena halal. And even themselves, they have so much ta'assub that one of their own, Maulana Hassan Sambuli, who's a student of Ashraf Ali Thanvi, he wrote a book, Ihya Sunan, in which he favored in many places the Shafi madhab, and they, in this, angered them so much. Like he said, likewise, they don't like Imam Abdul Hayy Lukhnavi systematically in many cases choosing the Shafi madhab and weakening the Hanafi madhab, saying they have no dalil for all the hadiths about whipping the neck in wudu are weak, all the hadiths about this are weak, they have no dalil about fixing a minimum for the dowry of the woman. And in his book, he has a book, Maulana Hassan Sambuli, about Taqrir Tirmizi, and in his book, he writes the notes of his teacher Ashraf Ali Thanvi. Then he puts his own comments as well, and he says eating a horse meat is permissible, eating yaina meat is permissible, there's no hadith against it. But obviously, this is what the good scholars do. They act upon hadith. But these people, they don't want acting on hadith. They just want to tell people hadith is too difficult, hadith is zanni, hadith is lost, hadith is confusing, hadith is just an ijtihad of Imam Bukhari, it's not a science. So this is why they want to confuse layman. They want to do tashkik about hadith. They're opening the doors to hadith rejectors, and they'll do whatever they can for to force taqleed, to encourage taqleed, because they want to promote jahiliyyah, they want to promote ignorance, they want to turn people into sheeps. Even in the book, you see Kitab al-Athar of Imam Abu Hanifa by his student Muhammad Hassan Shaybani, there's a chapter about renting the buildings of Mecca, and Imam Abu Hanifa says it is forbidden, it is haram, and he quotes some narrations that renting the building of Mecca is forbidden. We're going to quote them on a future lecture on Taqleed. And they don't act upon the saying of their own Imam. They all say it is allowed to. So on one side they say our Imam has the most, he's the greatest Imam, he knows hadith, he was semi-infallible. And same time, Imam Hassan Shaybani, Imam Abu Hanifa, they say it's forbidden to rent the buildings of Mecca. They quote narrations about it. But all the Hanafis, they rent buildings of Mecca. We'll let them. Don't you trust Imam Abu Hanifa? Maybe like they say, sometimes they're even going to say, like when Imam Abu Hanifa says the period of Raza'a, drink milking for the children in 2.5 years, they don't have any dalil, and they say, oh, maybe the Imam had a dalil which nowadays we don't have, and it's some books, for lost books, imaginary lost books. So they sometimes don't agree with the dalil of Imam Abu Hanifa, but they don't tell the muqallid, oh no, the hadith of Imam Abu Hanifa is weak, that's why we don't accept Imam Abu Hanifa's opinion. But they will just try to hide this fallibility of their Imam. He's a human being. You see, because they do not want to promote this, that the Imam is a human being. They want to promote, just accept the saying of your Imam. Like there's another case mentioned by Irshadullah Kathari, Maulana Irshadullah Kathari in his maqalat, about the 4 rak'ah. The Hanafi books, standard manual, tell you should pray 4 rak'ah before Salatul Isha. It is sunnah ghair mu'aqqada. It is not very stressed upon, but it is sunnah. Sunnah means the Prophet did it. Well, they have no dalil about the Prophet ever praying once, would not talking about muwadhaba regularly. There is not one hadith about the Prophet praying 4 rak'ah before Salatul Isha. Sometimes leaving it. It is a sunnah they have in their books, and they have no dalil for it. And they said in it, their scholars Binori and Zafar Ahmad Uthmani Thanvi, they acknowledge there is no hadith about, particularly they said Qasim Qutlubaha, Hafiz Ibn al-Humam, others Hanafi experts, they looked for hadith, they could not find any hadith about this action present in the book of fiqh. And they said, some of them said, oh, maybe it's present in some books that have disappeared. I mean, speculation, just to tell people you do it. Some of them, Maulana Zafar Thanvi, he went on to say, oh, but it is not sunnah, it is mustahab, and what is mustahab, you can establish it with analogy, meaning maybe the Imam used analogy, but the Hanafi books do not say it's mustahab, they say it's a sunnah. And for a sunnah, even ghair mu'akkada, you must have a hadith of the Prophet doing it, or a companion doing it, or... And then they tried on to explain, Ibrahim al-Halabi, he tried to say, oh, maybe it's the hadith, Prophet said between the two, Baina kulli adhan in Salah, there is a prayer between the 2 azan, and because Salat Isha is a night prayer, then these 2 azan, between the Iqamah and the azan, these 2 rak'ah should be 4 rak'ah. But this is wrong as well, because in some of the narrations, the Prophet clearly said between the 2 azan there is rak'atan, there is 2 rak'ah. There is not 4 rak'ah. And some others, like Maulana Thanvi, he said maybe if we say it is mustahab, then it can be established by analogy. But they all agree we could not find, you see, Maulana Zafar Thanvi said, Amal arba qablaha, meaning the 4 rak'ah before the fard, فَلَمْ يَذْكُرْ فِي خُصُوصِهَا hadith. There is no hadith mentioning them particularly. So people who consider the Imam infallible, that's why they want to follow the Taqleed. They themselves say some of the actions of the Imam, the experts of hadith, say they have no hadith about it. Maybe they were in lost books. Na'udhu billah, speculation above speculation. And speculation does not bring anything to people. So this is why we tell people follow the authentic hadith. If you do not find any authentic hadith about praying 4 rak'ah before Salatul Isha, don't pray them. If you do not find any authentic hadith about putting your 3 fingers and whipping your neck of the back, don't do it. Follow the authentic hadith, brothers. Follow what Allah tells you in the Quran and Sunnah. Follow the Prophet. And what is funny in this, and we will mention in a further talk on Taqleed, if you differ in anything, refer it to Allah and to the Messenger. And all the Mufassirun have said to refer to the Kitab and the Sunnah. You see, and Maulana Mahmud Hassan Deobandi, he made a tahrif in this verse, and he added, if you differ in anything, refer it to Allah, to the Messenger, and to Ulul Amr, and to the people of authority. So, and then after 40 years of his, in one of his books, he changed this, and people have taken this verse out after. But even in the second edition, they did not correct this mistake 30 years after the first edition. So Maulana Mahmud Hassan Deobandi has done a tahrif to justify Taqleed Shakhsi, because they have no dalil on Taqleed Shakhsi. You see, in the matters of differences, Allah clearly tells us to refer them to Allah and His Messenger. I mean, I don't remember the exact verse, I mean, in Arabic, but this is, I mean, in meaning. Refer to Allah and His Messenger. If you have obey Allah, obey His Messenger, and obey the people of Ulul Amr, authority, which means the rulers and the scholars. But if you differ in anything, refer to Allah and His Messenger. And all the Mufassirun from the Salaf, the student of Ibn Abbas, they said it means refer to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet in matters of dispute. And this hadith is clear. You see, we should refer our dispute to the book and the Sunnah. Obviously, if a topic is outside, it doesn't have it has no text and it is based on ijtihad, then the layman can choose between each explanation from different scholars, which one he thinks is the strongest. And what is the most strange is we find some Hanbali brothers, they start to having the same concept, like Shaykh Al-Qadhi, he said on Islam TV, and it's also present on YouTube, that for the layman, somebody asked him a question about praying one witr or something else, you should follow the stronger hadith. And Shaykh Al-Qadhi said, no, you should just follow your local scholar you trust, and he's like a doctor, you just follow his opinion. And he mentioned no dalil from the Kitab or Sunnah about it. And the problem with the Shaykh Al-Qadhi's statement is, what if someone is following a Barelvi, his local scholar is a Barelvi, and the layman, the Barelvi scholars tells him to worship graves, to do tawaf around graves, to kiss graves, to build mausoleum on graves. So the layman should just follow the fatwa of the Imam. He shouldn't look at the hadith, if whether it's Bukhari, Muslim, are telling, cursing the Jews and the Christians for establishing mosques on the graves of the prophets and saints. He should ignore it. The layman is an animal, he can't, no, the layman is not an animal, he can't understand dalil. This is why they themselves give dalil to the layman not to build upon graves, but at the same time they come with sayings. I mean, this is the problem, because if you say, oh, the layman should just accept the fatwa of the Mufti, he goes to Barelvi Mufti. There was one who died recently in Faisalabad. He said in his book, Asadullah Faisalabadi, you should write surah, if you have this cure, you should write surah Fatiha with urine and blood. So the layman goes to Mufti, the Mufti tells him to do kufr or shirk. We should accept it according, this is the consequence of the saying of Shaykh Al-Qadhi. And these people, I mean, they should look at what they're saying and what kind of madhab, taqleed they're propagating without any dalil from the Kitab wa Sunnah. Without anything, none of the Salaf used to say, oh, just accept the opinion of Abu Bakr, don't care about what the other Sahaba are saying. Ibn Abbas said, that's reported in Musnad Ahmad, and it's present in Kitab Tawheed. I fear stones will come on the rain from the sky upon you, because I said to you, the Prophet said this, and you say Umar and Abu Bakr said this about Hajj Tamattu. You see? And he said to a layman, he didn't say this to a scholar. He said to a layman, and the Sahaba didn't used to make the madhab of Abu Bakr, you just learn the sayings of Abu Bakr, you don't care what other Sahabi are saying, you just follow the madhab of Uthman, you follow the madhab of Ali, you follow the madhab of this, oh, it's going to confuse you, just follow one madhab, don't look at Dalal, you're an animal. Now, look at the ugly sayings these people are propagating nowadays. And sometimes because they are afraid of the layman are going to follow the Ahlul Hadith madhab, because it has the strongest dalal, inshallah. So now, inshallah, brothers and sisters, we're going to start the talk about black magic. Because this was the topic today, and we ask Maulana Mumtaz al-Haq and Shaykh Al-Qadhi as well, what about these Hanafi books of fiqh that have black magic in them? You see, it is related to taqleed. Taqleed is the source of all evils, because you're promoting people not to follow the nusus. You're telling them just follow your scholar, a local scholar. The people in India, Pakistan, they've got millions of Barelvis. They have their local muftis, great scholars, Tahal Qadri, doctors, mufti, and then they're going to say, oh, look, millions of people follow them, for us, they're scholars. We don't care about your dalil. We're going to sacrifice a sheep to the grave. We're animals. We can't understand usul al-fiqh. We can't understand Arabic. We don't care about your dalil. This is what these people. Taqleed is the source of all evils, and this is why Allah blamed him. There are hundreds of verses blaming taqleed in the Quran and Hadith, blaming ignorance, acting without any evidence. You see, this is the danger of taqleed, and brothers who are promoting it are not seeing the result of it. So no, the ruling of magic, brothers and sisters, is well known. I mean, it is clear cut. All the fuqaha agree that learning black magic, doing black magic is kufr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly told in the Quran, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو شَيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ شَيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ وَمَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى مَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلَ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ وَمَا يُعَلِّمَانِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ حَتَّى يَقُولَا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ فِتْنَةٌ فَلَا تَكْفُرْ فَيَتَعَلَّمُونَ منهما ما يفرق به بين المرء وزوجه وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله ويتعلمون ما يضرهم ولا ينفعهم ولقد علموا لمن اشتراه ما له في الآخرة من خلاق ولا بئس ما شروا به أنفسهم ولو كانوا يعلمون. Meaning they followed the shayateen, the black magicians, they followed the shayateens, what the shayateens, devils, gives out in the lifetime of Suleiman. Suleiman did not disbelieve, but the shayateen disbelieved, teaching man magic and such things that came down at Babylon under two angels, Harut and Marut. But neither of the two taught anything till they said, we are only for trial, so disbelieve not. And from these angels people learned that by which they cause separation between man and his wife, but they could not thus harm anyone except by Allah's leave. And they learned that which harms them and profits them not, and indeed they knew that the buyers of it, meaning magic, would have no share in the hereafter, and how bad indeed was that for which they sold their own self, if they but knew. Meaning, because the Jews in the Bible, they said Suleiman worshipped idols because of when he died, they found in his stuff black magic, but Allah in the Quran cleared Suleiman alayhi salam of this accusation, and they said the shayateen who worked for him, they used to do black magic, and they learned this from these two angels, Harut and Marut. But these two angels taught people before, teaching them magic at Babylon. If you do it, you will have no share in the hereafter. You see, so this is the ruling on black magic. All the fuqaha agree it is kufr to do black magic, and we all know, I mean, all the books tell how magic is done. You have to do contract with the jinn, you have to do an action of kufr, whether you do sajda to an idol, you sacrifice an animal for the jinn or for a human being, or you write. Some of them will, I'm going to mention that Ibn Taymiyyah as well mentioned in his Furqan, some of them are going to write for the Quran with blood and urine. Some of them are going to write the Quran in this order to please the jinn, and then the jinn, when seeing, oh, he has become a kafir, now my job is done. Then after this, the jinn will work for the black man, for the sorcerer, for the black man, for the magician, and they will go and separate between the husband and wife, and they will try to, I mean, weaken someone, whatever he's used for. But unfortunately, I mean, everybody agrees writing Fatiha Quran with the urine and blood is degrading the Quran, is kufr on its own. You see, whether you do it for joking or you do it for money, it is an action of kufr, because the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah agree that kufr can occur with belief, with speech, with action or doubt. Meaning some actions, they constitute kufr by themselves, whether you do them like mocking the Quran, mocking the prophets, insulting the prophets. If you do them willingly, whether you do it for money or for whatever, it is an action of disbelief. You see? So, Ibn Abbas, many scholars have clarified the Lajna Daima that kufr can occur with action only, and there's a book of Dr. Alawi Saqaf written in Arabic, introduced by Shaykh Ibn Abbas on this topic, which corrected the view of some other brothers and students of knowledge on this topic, that kufr can occur with action only. Tawassut wal Iqtisad of Shaykh Dr. Alawi Saqaf. So this is first a clarification that kufr cannot occur just by this action, whatever your intention is. This action has been described by Allah as being kufr. You see, you will have no share in the hereafter. Whether you believe in the prophets, whether you believe in Allah, you will have no share in the hereafter by doing black magic. But unfortunately, in the book Qadhi Khan, which is one of the highest authority in Hanafi fiqh, one of the standard manuals, some of the scholars like Anwar Kashmiri, they put it even above the book Hidayah, which is taught in all madaris in India, Pakistan. They say Qadhi Khan is highest than al-Hidayah of al-Maghinani. So in it is written in Kitab al-Hadhr wal-Ibaha وَمَا يَكْرَهُ أَكْلُهُ وَمَا لَا يَكْرَهُ وَمَا يَتَلَّقُ بِالزِّيَافَةِ. You see, page 292, it is published by Darul Fiqh, inshallah, it is written وَالَّذِي رَعَفَ فَلَا يَرْفَعُ دَمُّهُ فَأَرَادَ أَن يَكْتُبَ بِدَمِّهِ عَلَى جَبْهَةٍ شَيْئًا مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ قال أبو بكر الأسكاف رحمه الله تعالى يجوز. قيل لو كتب بالبول قال لو كان فيه شفاء لا بأس به. قيل ولو كتب على جلد ميتة قال إن كان فيه شفاء جاز. نعوذ بالله. English translation, it is the one whose nose bleeds and blood does not cease flowing, and he wants to write with his blood something from the Quran on his forehead. You see, to make, his nose is bleeding, and the blood, and he wants to write with his blood something from the Quran, any surah or verse on his forehead. Abu Bakr al-Askar from the Hanaf said it is permissible. It was said to him, and with urine? He replied, if there is a cure in it, there is no problem with it. Meaning, if writing Surah Fatihah or anything from the Quran on the forehead with urine can cure you, there is no problem with it. And he was asked, and what about writing on the skin of a dead animal? He replied, it is permissible if there is a cure on it. You see, so they're degrading the Quran to cure people. And what knowledge do you have? It's going to, this is kufr, this is black magic, you see. Prophet was touched by black magic, but he didn't use this method, and it is black magic, you see. And and if you have such a matter, you should do Ruqya Sharia, read the Quran to protect from black magic. But to stop the nose bleeding, you do kufr to stop it. Na'udhu billah, this is what these Hanafi fuqaha are teaching. So this is for Fatawa Qadhi Khan. And this book is present in many other books. You see, it's not just one singular saying. Qadhi Khan from the Ahnaf, he quoted this fatwa, there is no problem. He didn't denounce it. He didn't see any objection to it. Now in Fatwa Alamgiriyah, which has been written by hundreds of Hanafi scholars, you see, by committee, Sultan Alamgiri in India, Aurangzeb, he gathered many scholars to write a book which would be the law in India for the Muslims. And Fatwa Alamgiriyah, also named Fatwa Hindiya, it quotes the same. وَالَّذِي رَعَفَ فَلَا يَلْقَهُ دَمُّهُ فأراد أن يكتب بدمه على جبهته شيئا من القرآن قال أبو بكر الأسكاب يجوز وكذا لو كتب على جلد ميتة إذا كان فيه شفاء. Meaning, the one whose nose bleeds and the blood does not cease flowing, if he wants to write with his blood something from the Quran on his forehead, Abu Bakr al-Askaf said it is permissible, and likewise for writing on the skin of the dead animal if there is a cure in it. So for these people, if there is a cure in black magic, you can do it. While the Quran said you will have no share in the hereafter if you do black magic. But for them, you can do black magic if there's a cure of nosebleed. In Fatawa Shami of Ibn Abidin Shami, one of the greatest Hanafi books, it has the same. You see, it has the same, and from other scholars, you see, وَكَذَا اخْتَرَهُ صَاحِبُ الْهِدَايَةِ فِي التَّجْنِيسِ فَقَالَ وَلَوْ رعف فكتب الفاتحة بالدم على جبهته وأنفه جاز للاستشفاء. You see, he said the author of Al-Hidayah said in Tajnis, he said if someone has nosebleed and he writes Surah Al-Fatihah with blood on his forehead or on his nose, it is permissible for istishfa, for seeking a cure. وبالبول أيضا, and with urine as well. إِنُّ عَلِمَ فِيهِ شِفَاءٌ لَا بَأْسْ بِهِ. If we know there is a cure in it, there is no problem. لكن لم ينقل, but it was not said by, meaning by the early Hanafi scholars. But these scholars, they say it is permissible, you see. This is quoted in Bahr al-Raiq of Ibn Nujam, Hanafi, another great Hanafi scholar. So for them, there is no problem of doing it, though it had not been quoted, but there's no problem of writing Fatiha with urine and blood. And then after Ibn Abidin and Shami, it is in Kitab al-Tahara, you see, Baba al-Miyah. No, it is in Kitab Tahara, yeah, Baba al-Miyah, about the water. You see the purity and others. He's quoting from another Hanafi scholar, وَنَسَفِ الْحَاوِي al-Qudsi, another Hawi, it's a well-known Hanafi book of fiqh. So it is not only the opinion of Abu Bakr al-Askaf, you see Qadhi Khan, Alamgiriyah, they didn't object to it. And here you have another Hanafi book, al-Hawi al-Qudsi. It is written, إِذَا سَالَ دَمْ مِنْ أَنْفِهِ إِنسَانٍ وَلَا يَنْقَطِعُ حَتَّى يَخْشَى عَلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ وَقَدْ عَلِمَ أَنَّهُ لَوْ كَتَبَ الْفَاتِحَ الْكِتَابَ أَوْ الْإِخْلَاسِ بِذَلِكَ الدَّمِ على جبهته ينقطع فلا يرخص له ما فيه وقيل يرخص كما رخص في شرب الخمر للعطشان وأكل الميتة في المخمسة وهو الفتوى. So he's saying if blood flows from the nose of a human being, in Hawil al-Qudsi of a famous Hanafi scholar, I forgot his name, but he's a well-known Hanafi scholar, and he said, and he does not cease until death is fear for him, and he indeed knows that writing al-Fatihah, surah, al-Ikhlas with his blood on his forehead will make it cease, then there is no concession for him. And it has been said there is concession, rukhsa for him, like drinking wine for the thirsty and eating the dead animal in hunger, and the fatwa is upon this. Meaning, if he fears the death, he can do black magic, which is totally false, because we know that drinking wine and eating dead animal for the one who fears hunger, to die out of hungership, it will cure his hunger, or it will cure his thirst. But black magic, it will never cure your blood. You see, it is what dalil you have, it will cure your blood. You see, it's not even speculation. It is black magic. So how can you make an analogy by saving your life with eating and drinking, with saving your life doing black magic, which is based on speculation? You see, it's not based on medicine. It's not natural causes. It is black magic. You're doing kufr. You see, and this is propagated in how Kursi said the fatwa is open. This that you have concession if the blood is flowing. It doesn't stop you write surah, al-Ikhlas or Fatiha on your nose. And this is, and even the Hanafi scholar Ghulam Rasul Sa'idi from the Barelvi school of thought, in his Sharh Sahih Muslim, he also said that the Hanafi scholars had no shame in doing this action of kufr. He said, खून और किसी दूसरी नजस चीज के साथ तावीज़ लिखने की शरह हुक्म. In his volume 6 of his Sharh Sahih Muslim, page 556, he's saying, तावीज़ लिखने के वक्त हर चीज मलूज़ रखनी चाहिए है. When you write an amulet, you should be careful. You should be careful about which the material you use to write it. किसी नापाक चीज तावीज़ लिखना नाजायज़ है. It is not allowed to write तावीज़, your amulet, with something which is impure. बाद लोग मोरो के खून से तावीज़ लिखते हैं. Some people write तावीज़, their amulets, with the blood of chickens. ये जायज़ नहीं, it is not permissible. हर जानदाज को बहने वाला खून नापाक है. He said the blood of animals is impure. ना पाक चीज़ से कुरान मजीद की आयत अल्लाह ताला के अस्मा लिखना जायज़ नहीं. It is not permissible to write the Quran with impure things or the names of Allah. मुझे बहुत हैरत और अफसोस के साथ लिखना पड़ रहा है कि अल्लामा शमी की नियत अफसोसनाक बात लिखी है. He said, and I have to say with regret that Allama Shami ibn Abidin has to write something very regrettable, and he quoted what I have quoted before from Allama Shami. كذا اختار أصحاب الهداية في التجنيس فقال ولو رعف فكتب الفاتحة بدم على جبهته وفي جاز للاستشفاء. You see, so whoever, this is chosen by the author of Hidayah, and the one who has nosebleed and he writes Surah Fatiha, this is permissible for istishfa. And then he writes, the Deobandi scholar, मैं कहता हूँ कि खून या पेशाब के साथ सूरह फातिहा लिखने वाला का ईमान खतरा में है. I say writing Surah Fatiha with blood or urine, the one who does it, his iman is in danger. Meaning he is not sure about the iman of the person of who does this. अगर किसी आदमी को की रोशनी से ज़्यादा यकीन हो कि उस अमल को शिफा हो जाएगा, तब भी उसका मर जाना उसे बेहतर है. If someone has yaqeen that by doing this action he will cure, even in this, because first that you have no yaqeen that doing this will lead to a cure. But see, even you have yaqeen, he said, मर जाना उसे बेहतर है. It's better to die कि वो खून या पेशाब के साथ सूरह फातिहा लिखने की जुर्रत करे. He dares to write surah, the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to dare to write it with urine and blood. It is better to die than it. Allah ta'ala in fuqaha ko maaf kare. But may Allah forgive this fuqaha, this and that, and then they carry on. They have they have said this evil and disgusting saying. So this is why we say to Shaykh Yasir Qazi and Mawla Mumtaz, stop propagating Taqleed. Because these scholars alive are telling people to write Fatiha with blood and urine, and layman, if you tell them just follow the local mufti of your corner, just trust them, they're going to follow their local scholar. They're not going to ask for dalil. They're not going to say, oh, but the Quran says the one who does black magic will have no share in the hereafter. You see, if you teach people to follow the nusus, you teach them the kitab and sunnah are authorities of you. They're not zanni matters. They're not matters which have no, you just read them for barakah, but they have no value for you. You cannot understand them. And we're not telling the layman by himself taking Quran, he should make a fatwa. We saying in the sayings of the scholars from the Salaf, you see, even if it's outside the four, is Lays ibn Sa'd or the saying of a companion or tabi'i, like the saying of Ibn Abbas about the divorce in 3 times. You see, he said the Prophet at the time of the Prophet, if it was said in one sitting, 3 divorces, it was counted as one. This saying of Ibn Abbas and his student, even if the four mazhab didn't take it, doesn't matter. It's when it is obtained with certainty, this opinion of Ibn Abbas, then choosing it, we said to the layman, it has stronger dalail than not taking the opinion of Umar radiallahu anhu. So the layman can understand. Telling him you cannot understand the saying of Ibn Abbas is pure nonsense. It's pure nonsense. Obviously, he's saying human beings cannot understand, the Arab people cannot understand Arabic, and those who cannot understand Arabic, they can't understand translations. I mean, if scholars translate to them the opinion of Ibn Abbas and Umar, they're still going to be like animals wandering in or leaf wandering with the wind. They have no idea. They're stupid. Now the people are doing PhDs. They're building, making softwares. But as for understanding the opinion of Umar or Ibn Abbas, they're clueless, they're lost. I mean, now this is the danger of Taqleed. You see, this is writing Fatiha with urine, this is the danger of Taqleed. And greater than the danger than these brothers and sisters, what we have is in Deobandi. You see, this is present in other Hanafi books of fiqh, Fatawa Siraji and others, but they're the same kind of. So it is not an isolated act. It is abundant in Hanafi books of fiqh, but unfortunately it doesn't stop here. The Deobandi, because they have been told you should have some infallible Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, Ashraf Ali Thanvi. I mean, the Rashid Ahmad Gangohi, like in Arwah Thalasa, he didn't act for 12 years without asking the Prophet ﷺ, and then he became instead of Fana, Ihsan. Well, obviously for them, he didn't ask except by Allah's permission. And they believe, you see, they have this Sufi belief in their Shaykh, that they're semi-infallible. That's why they used to accept their teachers' sayings without... this is what they want to propagate. You see, don't look at the dalail, just look at our Shaykh. These are the fake karamat, they just accept them, they're great scholars, you're a jahil. And unfortunately, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi, he has a book with clear black magic, sorcery. You see, it's not Harry Potter, it's not jokes, it is serious matters. It is teaching black magic. Ashraf Ali Thanvi was clearly teaching black magic in his book Amal Qurani. You see, he tells people to separate between two people. And you can clearly see in this book, inshallah, you're going to have scanned, that there is, you write the name on the tawiz, Allah, 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 and between you write sihr, sihr, which means magic, magic. This is how to separate between two people. And this is sold today. You can find it in any Deobandi shop. You go to Urdu Bazaar in Lahore. But you can even find this shirk here in England. It has been translated into English. Darul Isha'at, Remedies of the Quran. And this is what really sometimes, I mean, I'm astonished to some Hanbali brothers who propagate Taqleed. And they defend Deobandis as well. They say, oh, you are exaggerating on their mistakes. It's not. I mean, we have shown with quotes their belief in Wahdatul Wujud, their belief in the Khut Abdal controlling the universe. The main books, Muhannad al-Mufannad, Taskeen al-Sudur, Fazail al-Sadaqa, telling to seek intercession from the Prophet ﷺ. Taskeen al-Sudur of Maulana Sarfaraz Abdul Khan has been cited by dozens of major Deobandi scholars. You see, the father of Taqi Usmani, Mufti Shafi Usmani, it has been said by Yusuf bin Uri, by Jawahir Ali Thanvi, Taskeen al-Sudur, clearly telling to seek intercession from the Prophet ﷺ, using the hadith of Malik and Dar and all narrations of Al-Utbi, all the fabricated hadiths to justify seeking help from the Prophet at his grave. And we ask these Hanbali Shias, are you blind? Can you not see the Khanqa? Can you not see the Bay'ah? Can you not see the Khirqa on the Sufis? Why are you saying, you know, the Deobandis, some of them even say they're better than Ahlul Hadith, na'udhu billah. Either they're blind or say, I mean, they say we follow ulama najd, the Ahlul Hadith follow ulama najd better than you. You see, we don't support people who call to shirk and innovation. So, I mean, these people, they're not real Hanbalis. When it comes to publishing Kitab Sunnah of Imam Ahmad by his son, they take the chapter against Imam Abu Hanifa. Imam Ahmad Hanbal will criticize Ahlul Rai, he will criticize Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah. But this Hanbali, the Hanbali is in chocolate. You see, when it comes to criticizing Ahlul Rai, Ibn al-Qayyim does it in I'lam Muwaqqi'in. And their tricks, Imam Bukhari criticized them, Imam al-Humaydi, all the books of Salaf, the Ahlul Hadith used to criticize the Ahlul Rai. But when it comes to criticizing them, these Hanbalis in chocolate, they forget their Imam. This is why we say the Ahlul Hadith are the true followers of Salaf. You see, we don't do taqleed of them, but we respect them more than you. And likewise, we respect more Shaykh Muhammad ibn al-Wahhab, Shaykh Al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah than you, because we do not support and propagate people, clear Quburis, clear Sufi Naqshbandi Chistis, and we say, oh, but no, they're not doing Kufr and shirk. I mean, if you want to stay blind, you can stay blind, but the problem is if you tell people the Deobandis are Ahl Sunnah and the Ahlul Hadith are freak people, they're lunatics, they're exaggerating, then look at these books. If you're blind, if you don't have time, we're going to read this fatwa to you, and we ask these Hanbali sheikhs to take time, I mean not time, but to fear Allah, to fear Allah, because protecting these Quburis, they will have to answer Allah on the Day of Judgment if one of the laymen becomes Quburi because of them protecting the Deobandis. So this book is sold by the Deobandis without, and I mean they're selling Ibn Arabi's book. I mean they have Khanqa. I mean these Hanbali sheikhs, they're blind or what? Those who support them. So in this Hanafi book, Remedies of the Quran, Darul Isha'at, page 35, Growing Hatred and Ill Will. And he says, if one wishes to create hatred between two people, then he must write this verse. It is in surah number 5, verse 64. وَأَلْقَيْنَا بَيْنَهُمُ الْعَدَاوَةَ وَالْبَغْضَاءَ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Meaning we have put between them hatred up to the Day of Judgment. So it was referring to the people of the book. So he should write this verse on a papyrus leaf and draw this below that, meaning the naqsh, meaning the drawing, with Allah, 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 and between sihr, sihr, meaning magic, magic. You see, everybody knows the meaning of sihr is magic. Under this drawing, he may write that difference may be created between so and so and so and so. So he writes, may a difference be created between, and he write the names like Omar and Hafsa, or I mean Zainab, whatever the name of the two people he wants to do separation between them. He may make an amulet of that and bury it between two ancient graves. So you put on a paper, you put this verse of the Quran, you put the separation comes between the two names of the people. You make an amulet of this paper and you put it, bury it between two ancient graves. But he should not do it for an unreasonable cause, or he would be sinner. But he said, you shouldn't do it for unreasonable cause, meaning if the two people are good people, you shouldn't separate between them. But if one of them is bad and you have a reason to separate them, you can do this. So some people, when I've quoted this fatwa, they said, oh, it is only black magic to remove black magic. It is nowhere said. It is to, if someone is doing black magic, this is to separate between two people. This is not because there are some very weak opinions of some scholars about removing black magic with black magic, which has no dalil from Kitab or Sunnah. You see, we shouldn't do it. But even if these opinions, some scholars, some very few scholars have these shaz, meaning odd opinions, wrong opinions, it doesn't suit on Ashraf Ali Thanvi, because he's saying to separate between two people. He didn't say to remove magic on two people and to unite them. You write this amulet. He said to separate in between. If you have a valid cause, one of them was bad for the other, and you want to separate between them, you write the amulet, you write sihr, it is black magic, and you put this verse of the Quran in the ground. You see, you buried more the degradation of the Quran. So this is clear black magic propagated in England, and none of the Deobandis would open his mouth to condemn this, because Ashraf Ali Thanvi for them is na'udhu half for God. He's semi-infallible. For them he's someone speaking with ilham and others. You see, because they have the Naqshbandi Chishti Tariqah, they are people of followers of Ibn Arabi and Sufism, these people. So it is all in England without any problem. Black magic sihr under the name of Islam, and none of the Hanbalis will speak because of the Deobandi's numbers. I mean, they should fear Allah rather than looking at the numbers, or I mean, fearing a loss in their businesses or whatever. Now, to finish this lecture on black magic, there is a book, Jawahir Khamsah, of Qudwatul Kamilin Hazrat Shaykh Muhammad Ghaus Golyari. It was written into Persian, and it was translated in Urdu by Maulana Mirza Muhammad Beg Naqshbandi Dehlvi. It is published by Darul Ishad, the famous Deobandi Idara. Some other Deobandi Idara like Maktaba Rahmani and Lahore published this book. So the author, he's a Chishti Sufi, Shaykh Muhammad Ghaus Golyari, and the translator Muhammad Beg Naqshbandi Dehlvi is a Naqshbandi Sufi. And this book is published by Deobandis. This book contains amulets, numbers, black magic. The author, Muhammad Ghaus Golyari, Chishti Sufi, he was a student of Abdul Quddus Gangohi, a famous Sufi that Rashid Ahmad Gangohi and others used to venerate and follow. And this is written in Mashaykh Chis of Zakaria Kandalbi, which is translated into English as well. It is written in this book that Muhammad Ghaus Golyari was a student of Abdul Quddus Gangohi. So he's not a no-known, he is the student of one of the greatest Chishti saint, I mean, of the Chishti Silsila, and it was translated, I mean, by a Naqshbandi scholar. So and at the end, the Naqshbandi scholars has added his own Risala Futuh al-Ghaib, you see at the end. So we're going to find shirk in the main book as well, Jawahir Khamsah, and also at the end by the Naqshbandi scholar Mirza Beg. So in this book, for instance, I'm going to start with this one, page 267. Page 267, you have an invocation, Barai Husul Mamlakat Suleiman, to have the kingdom of Suleiman in your hands. You see? And it is to control, jo koi ism ko 5 saal bihukm खजीर फाकिर अमीन सोल उर्दू दावा देगा उसके तमाम काम में बेहतरी हो गया और मुल्क सुलेमान उसके हाथ में आएगा. He said whoever does this wazifa for that many years, 5 years, he will have the kingdom of Suleiman in his hand. और मुतरसिफ ज़मीन आसमान का होगा. He will have control of the earth and the heaven. और तमाम मखलूक़ात आलिम सगीर और कबीर उसके ज़ेरे तस्खीर होंगे. And all the world, you see सगीर and kabir, will be in his control. And तमाम आलिम उसकी बरकत से मुनव्वर होगा. And all the universe will be enlightened by his barakah. मुसब्बिब इसम का he will किसी चीज़ का मुहताज ना सिवाय खुदा ताला का. He will not be dependent on anything except Allah. और उमर असर अलवी जैसे बर्क़ और बारान और सब से मुसखिर होंगे. All the thunder, everything will be under his control. जिस वक्त चाहे ज़ाहिर करेगा. He can make the thunder appear whenever he wants. यहाँ तक कि अगर वो हुक्म करे तो आफ्ताब शब के नमूदार होगा. Meaning if he orders the sun to appear at night time, it will appear. और दिन को छुप जाएगा तो अमल किया जाएगा. You see. And if you order the sun to disappear at daytime, it will disappear and the night will come. So this is now such a power. They affirm that no prophets ever had. And even Prophet Ibrahim challenged Nimrod that if you claim to be God, then make the sun appear at daytime. And these people say we can do it by just reciting some invented wazifa. We can do it. So now this is taught by the Deobandi and propagated pure kufr. You see, why the prophets some of them were martyred by the Jews, the Sahaba were martyred, and this shows this kind of tasawwuf totally destroys the intelligence of the people. You see, it is an opium that destroys your brain. You don't act on the nusus, you don't reflect on the nusus, you act on these fairy tales and the stories. You are lost in this world of hallucination and madness, and accept any kind of fairy tale and nonsense. All humans, Allah created the humans on pure fitra, but this wrong Sufism corrupted this fitra and makes you accept this falsehood. This is when you become an animal. You see, you have no intelligence, you accept such kinds of wazifa to have the kingdom of Suleiman and to control the sun and the moon. Sane person can see the prophets in the Quran are being killed, some suffer hunger, some suffer illnesses, none of them had the control over the universe. In the same book, page 467, we have pure kufr. 467. We have, as you can see, to remove a strange illness, you write Fatiha in disorder. You see, Alhamdulillah, Ghair al-Maghdub and then they carry on. All Surah Fatiha in disorder, and the brothers, they can read in English, Furqan. I recommend this book to all the brothers, such a wonderful book. Al-Furqan, Baina Awliya Rahman wa Awliya Shaitan of Shaykh Al-Islam, Ahmad ibn Taymiyyah. He explained in it how the Sufis do black magic and how they write Surah Fatiha in disorder. Writing Surah Fatiha in disorder, it is pure kufr. It is to please the shaitan, to remove an illness from you. This is again taught, this is clear kufr. And we ask the Hanbali sheikhs, to fear Allah and condemn this pure kufr. You see, you've got numbers, you've got strange drawings. Is this the deen of Allah? Na'udhu billah. They're propagating them, selling them, and you're keeping quiet to it. And the Ahlul Hadith who expose the Deobandis, you tell, oh, these are freaks and lunatics, they have no fiqh. And na'udhu billah, this is fiqh fi din, writing Fatiha with urine, or doing black magic, writing sihr to separate. This is na'udhu billah fiqh fi din for them, what the Deobandi do. But Ahlul Hadith, we don't have tariq Sufia, we don't have black magic, we don't have all this stuff. And at the end, as a formula to kill someone, page 437, this is in Futu al-Ghaib at the end of Mirza Beg Naqshbandi. 437, the Sahaba, they used to go jihad, kill people, but these people, they don't need to, in battles, they just need to recite some wazaif and kill people with some wazaif, you see. He said, Amal number 10, killing an enemy who's killing is permissible, but the religious one should take and put a tree of Sanubar in an empty house, and he should write on it the great names of Allah, and if there is a group, then 48 times, and if there are 3, then 27 times, meaning the people you want to kill. and you should do ruqya with the great name on the tree, and you should have no clothes on the head, and you should take a stick and imagine he's in me, then beat the sanuba tree, meaning, and say, I have killed Fulan with the domination of Allah. He should do such 3 or 7 days. I mean, this is here in Urdu. قتل अक़दा कि जिस चीज़ का कत्ल इंदशर जायज़ हो, सनुबर का दरख़त खाली घर में ले जा और मजमू अस्मा आज़म को उस पर लिखे, जमात हो तो 48 बार और अगर 3 हो तो 28 बार मजमू अस्मा आज़म मुकल्लत पढ़ कर उस दरख़त पर दम करे और पढ़ने दम तक वो जलाए और and again, and this is what the end. So this is what these people teach. I mean, one can wonder if such things were correct, why the Sahaba and Salaf fought and got martyred. But this kind of Sufism was than opium, you see. This is why they tell them to isolate in rooms, like I've shown before. They have the book, in some of the books in English, of Rashid Ahmed Gangohi, Imdadul Suluk. They tell he should stay secluded in a room with for that many days, with no windows. And this is why they have invented this religious Sufism, for the person goes mad. And then they involve him in black magic and hallucination, and that's where he is ready to accept Wahdatul Wujud and all the shirk and dirt on the earth. So this is how they do. You see, they first soften the hearts, telling heart-softening stories, and little by little, after brainwashing the person, then they start teaching him magic and Wahdatul Wujud, abominable kufr and shirk. So this is why, our objective, we cannot force people, to change. We can only expose and give them the light, show them the books from the Kitab or Sunnah, and invoke Allah, because this is the weapon of the believer. You see, this we can only invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them to rectify as well, and explain to them that the taqleed they're propagating, this can also lead to shirk. And I will quote from their own scholars, Shah Waliullah, that some forms of taqleed lead to shirk, inshallah, on a lecture regarding taqleed, inshallah, with all the quotes, with the definition from the scholars. You see, what is taqleed, what is not. Accepting a hadith has nothing to do with taqleed, and their own how the 4 Imams forbade taqleed, were the later scholars, like even some of the Hanafis, like Ibn Abidin, they said the layman has no madhab, he can choose. And many Maliki, Shafi scholars say there is ijma from the Sahaba. They did not forbid someone who sought fatwa from Abu Bakr to seek it from Abu Huraira. And there is ijma, Allama Qurafi al-Maliki, many other scholars have quoted this ijma. Allama Jassas al-Hanafi in his Usul al-Jassas forbids taqleed, strictly quoting all the verses, condemning acting without knowledge. And many other scholars from the former madhab and outside the former madhab condemning taqleed from the Salaf and the Khalaf, and showing the contradiction of the people of taqleed, showing they have no, even Taqi Usmani said, we only tell to taqleed shakhsi of one scholar only is not justified by Kitab Sunnah, it's intizami umur, meaning it is it's only their own opinions that they have made. You see, and instead of teaching laymen to search for the nusus, act upon authentic hadith, they're teaching them, they're making them vulnerable to shirk and kufr, because someone who is taught just to accept the saying of his shaykh without proof, he will be a victim of black magic, writing surah al-Fatihah with urine. He will be a victim of worshipping graves. You see? What is funny, why are you giving the light to the Barelvis about not sacrificing on graves and not kissing graves or solidifying graves, and you themselves say you shouldn't follow hadith, you should just follow the saying of the Imam. The dalil is not only for barakah, but you cannot establish ruling, you don't have the way to understand it, while they themselves oppose this in such a way. But we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well on taqleed, and show the danger of taqleed, how it can lead to shirk, some ways of taqleed. We encourage people first to act upon the authentic hadith, to look for the dalil of each scholar, respect all scholars, but only take the kitab and sunnah, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. If you differ in any matter, refer it, obey Allah and His Prophet and the people of authority. But if you differ in any matter, refer it to Allah and His Prophet, meaning like the Salaf said, the Sunnah of Ibn Abbas in Tafsir, follow the kitab or sunnah. You see, this is the wahi from Allah. You see, the Prophet said, I received a revelation similar to the Quran. It has the same legislative rule as the Quran, you see. And it is not like a khabar ahad, it is only the Imam. This is what the hadith rejectors say, oh, it's just the Ajmi plot, Bukhari and all these people that were Ajmi, except Muslim, all the others, muhaddis were non-Arab, and they plotted to make this a hadith, na'udhu billah. So the hadith is wahi from Allah, you should act upon it. The saying of any Imam can be right, can be wrong. They themselves said, reject my saying when it opposes hadith, you see. And this is what we encourage brothers to do. And this is the only way for salvation. Follow Kitab wa Sunnah. Do not follow the muqallidin waswas, the talbisat, or other opinions. Because they will lead you nowhere. They will give you just make you a good sheep for them so they can use you and take you wherever they want. You see. But be an independent researcher. Be a follower of the Prophet, be Ahlul Hadith, be Muhammadi. You see, like in the first generation, the books of Imam Ahmad, Imam Shafi, Imam Malik, learn knowledge, learn their dalail, you see, and be a student of knowledge, you see. Even if someone believes the Hanafi rules are better, he wants to study books of Abu Hanifa, we say, but do it with a sincere heart. Don't do it like Anwar Shah Kashmiri said, he found a hadith in Mustadrak al-Hakim, in which the Prophet ﷺ prayed witr, he prayed 2 rakat, then after he gave salam, he spoke to someone, and then after he prayed single witr, and it is against, because Imam Abu Hanifa said you should only pray one witr. One witr is not allowed, it's only 3. But this hadith is a revelation from Allah, it is authentic, you see, you accept it is authentic, and then you don't act upon it, and Anwar Shah Kashmiri said in his Shadi explanation of Sunan Tirmidhi, I spent 13 years about how to find an answer to this hadith. All the Hanafi scholars could never answer this hadith. And I found an answer, but he didn't quote it because obviously it would have been ridiculous. You've got a clear hadith. The Prophet prayed 2 rak'ah, he gave salam, he spoke to someone, meaning the 2 rak'ah are finished, and then after he prayed 1 witr. So if you want to be Hanafi scholars, learn Hanafi fiqh, we're not going to come to you, but be Hanafi scholars like Shah Waliullah, Abdul Hayy Lukhnavi and others, Abu Hayat Sindhi. Take the Kitab wa Sunnah as the final criterion over you. You see, don't be, oh, this hadith go against my mom, I have to spend 13 years of your life upon pure kufr and shirk. How to reject the wahi from Allah to make it suitable to my imam. Some of them, I mean, it's a long lecture, we'll quote the ta'asub. The same narrator, when he's against Hanafi fiqh, he's thiqa, when he's against Hanafi fiqh, he has a hadith, he's daif. In the same book, they have 2 rulings about the same narrator, about the same chain. Sometimes Maulana Zafar Thanvi or Nimawi. They will make any excuse just to make their fiqh stronger, and they're not interested. They will apply one rule sometimes, and the next time they will change their rule. You see? And we will inshallah show to the layman inshallah how the muqallid too, how they are brainwashed to become like animals, and for them they degrade the authority of hadith, they degrade the importance of following the wahi. They say the wahi is just to read for barakah, it has no role in your life. You see, just read Raqaiq, just read Riyadh Salihin. Don't try to act on Sahih Bukhari Muslim, understand the ikhtilaf of the Salaf and which opinion is strongest for you. They don't want this from you because they want to keep you as an animal. You see, they want a clergy above you, that you do not go to other scholars, don't go to the Shafi, don't go to the Hanbalis, don't go to the Ahlul Hadith, don't look for yourself which opinion is strongest. Why in this case Imam Abu Hanifa doesn't have hadith and they have a hadith? You see, because there are many cases like this. But they don't want this because it's going to show that for them, I mean, it's a shock. What Abdul Hayy Lukhnavi, hundreds of cases he would leave the Hanafi mazhab. Shah Waliullah, hundreds of cases in his Hujjatul Balighah, he would leave the Hanafi mazhab. Abul Hasan Kabir Sindhi, same. Muhammad Hayat Sindhi, the same. But they don't want this. Because in their brain, how they have been brainwashed is like the madhab is a revealed religion. You should follow. But they, and even Mahmud Hasan Deobandi said in his Taqleed Tirmidhi, inshallah we will quote all these books, saying my Shaykh said on Khiyar Majlis, The Hujjah is with the Shafi, but we are Muqallid of Abu Hanifa. Though the Dalail Nusus are with the Imam Shafi, but we are Muqallid of Abu Hanifa. Na'udhu billah, this is pure kufr and shirk. To accept the Wahi is with Imam Abu Hanifa, is Imam Shafi, but I'm going to follow the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa just because I'm Muqallid, I'm a sheep. This is the greatest misguidance that leads to shirk, kufr, and Allah blamed the mushrikeen of Makkah to speak without ignorance, to speak without dalail, and to reject the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us all, to protect the Ummah from black magic, from Ashraf Ali Thanvi's Amal Qurani remedies the Quran, from the Jawahir Khamsah of the Naqshbandis, Chistis, and the abomination taught by this Wahdatul Wujud and all these Turuq Sufya, what they have secret in their khanqa. They say this knowledge that is only for the khawas, which is not for the layman. This is what we're warning against, blind taqleed, against writing Fatiha with urine and blood, and inshallah it is, inshallah we'll make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he does, and the Muqallid Deobandis. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا ولم تغفر لنا وترحمنا كنا من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد آمين ثم آمين.